All right, good morning, everyone. It's Trader Rob. We are live. Today is Monday, October 20th. Nothing on the high impact news calendar scheduled here for today. So, pretty much just have some news service on that could show you possibly any news headline that might come out. Let's start off with the ES here. Who took the short setup that I left you guys with on Friday? That was absolutely fantastic. Smashed TP1 and TP2. Just a really nice trade setup that left you guys here on Friday. So hopefully you guys profited from that one. I could take this one. Let's take this one off of our radar. We got a lot of stuff to map out here this morning. I know I'm on a bit early today because I gotta jump off a bit early. Probably our stream's gonna go till about 9:40 this morning, so probably a good hour and 15 minutes after till the market from the market open. All right, so looking at the ES, remember we've got this we've got a setup that we had marked out up here probably on Thursday of last week at the 67.88. Remember we're looking for a short down to the 67.85 for TP1, and then TP2 you're looking at a short of 67.83. Good morning, Mike. So with that being said, let's map out some areas here on the ES. So I've got one little pocket here. Let's see what this looks like on the chart. Okay, so again, on the bottom side of this volume profile, I'd much rather the bulk of the volume start happening towards the middle to top part of the volume profile if I'm looking for a long. But this peak right here that you guys can see, this would be if I can find a setup there, even though this I don't like because we came back, we pulled into this area already and balanced out some volume right here. But if I take a look, let me just see if there's anything that I see. Okay, so what I would see here is something like right down here at the 6,700. Obviously, psychological number. More than likely, you're probably going to see a lot of orders sitting right here. But again, it's not where I'd like to see it on the volume profile. I'd like this to be up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just mark off the 6,700, and then we'll kind of just wait to see what price action does once it gets a little closer to that. Let me just put it right. I can get rid of this, get rid of this guy. Now let's put him exactly at the 6,700. Okay. So again, this matches up with, you know, a good level, good 15-minute level right here. Psychological number at the 6,700. This is going to be an area where you're definitely going to see orders at. The only reason why I would consider this probably a B to B minus setup at this point is because we are not at this peak, or I'd like to be somewhere above this peak, to be honest with you. So we'll map that one. Let's see what else we can find here. All right, I've got one already kind of marked off here from last night. We've got an area right here, right around this 66.71 that I'd be very interested in. Let me hone in now and let me see what I can find as far as possible entries. All right, so I'm going to show you guys what my thought process is here. So for an entry down here, I like the 66.71.50. Here's my only problem is that if you, and again, matches up really nicely with this 15-minute level here, fits really nicely on the volume profile. My only concern is this area right here. Let me see if I can get a circle going here. Right there. Because of the fact that there's going to be a lot of stops sitting right here, this little pocket. So when price action comes back down, the only thing I'm a little worried about at this 66.71 is a final push or a final sweep into this big volume cluster that's going to be sitting right here, right at that, let's call it the 66 down to the 64 area. So, you know, a safe stop would be somewhere down here around the 63, but you're looking at about 8 points of stop. So not the absolute greatest. As far as TPs, I would think that you've got a very, very easy one right there. I know it's small, but it's what I see. I can't control what volume does or did. So that guy would go right there. And TP2 would go somewhere around there, even though it's not the absolute greatest. Let's see. Let me load this one up as a TP. Okay, and then where my normal stop loss would be somewhere right around here. So right at that 66. I'm going to put it to 65.75. Load stop loss. All right, so this trade would look something like what you guys see here. Entry at the 66.71.50. First TP is only about 2 points, so I'm again really small target, but again it's what I see. It's what I see in the in the market where we had a volume imbalance that I would know that it would want to clear out. Targeting TP2 would be at 66.75. Now it's looking a little better. It's 4.5 points right here. So we'll take a look at what price action once it comes down here, what it ends up doing. And my biggest concern why this would be graded probably a B setup would be that I'm very afraid with this stop loss area right here, just because this is going to be an area in the market that I can see the market trying to take a final push, sweeping this before taking out our TP1 and TP2. So I'm going to map it out. I will see what price action does as it starts kind of coming closer. And then the other pocket that I see kind of coincides here with this volume profile. Again, the area of interest is sitting below this volume peak, and I would want it to be a little bit higher up, but I'm just going to I'm going to map it out and let's just see what it looks like. So yeah, kind of a very similar situation here where you're going to have a big area right here of, just see if I could put a box here. Let's see what this looks like. A lot of stops sitting right here, a lot of volume that's going to be sitting here. We would try to take our trade right up here, but again, there's that fear of that final spike down to grab whatever stops, whatever liquid volume imbalance that the market wants to go after, and it could be sitting right here. So you have to be extremely careful with that. As far as TPs on this one, they do look a little bit better. Could probably target, I think, right around there. And that's going to, let me load that up as a TP. And that would pretty much sit at the 66.51. Okay, well, again, our entry would be right here. Get rid of this guy. This would be our entry. 66.48. Our stop right now. Our stop right now would be at the 66.41.50. And then TP2. That's pretty easy. All right, so the secondary setup, which is actually pretty similar to the setup we've got going on up here. And along at the 66.48, targeting 66.51, and then targeting 66.53. So our first target is about 3 points, which is about the average of my first TP. And then with a stop at the 66.41. But see how this stop coincides with this big area of volume that's going to be sitting there. That's going to be a lot of stops. There's going to be a lot of stop losses in this area. And my only concern is as price action taps into our entry, I don't want to see that final tap into this area before sweeping my TP1 and TP2. So both of these trades right here have that possibility of happening. And then let me just make sure there's nothing a little closer. Nope, that's pretty much it on the ES. So remember, on the ES, from the top side for a short, we're looking at the 67.88 down to the 67.85. And to the downside, I've got this area marked off at the 6700. More than likely would not take a trade from here. I've got it marked off because this will be an area we will see some reaction to. But again, it just doesn't line up very well with my volume profile. I'd like to see this on the top side of this profile. And then along at the 66.71, small target to TP1, but that's what I see on the market at the 66.73.25. Again, I've already explained to you that the reasoning this is a B setup, this is a B plus setup, is just because of the fact that there is a lot of, this is a very high stop loss area right around our stop loss. So what I would hate to see is a tapping into this, rebalancing this prior to them taking out my TP1 and TP2. So from there, let's jump over to the NQ. Okay, the NQ, we've got a setup that we mapped out last week at the 25.231. So we'd be looking for a short there at the 25.231.50, targeting 25.222 as a TP1, and our TP2 targeting 25.217.50. Good morning, show me the money. Hopefully you do. Hopefully I do show you the money here this morning. And then I think to the downside, I don't think we had much else. Now let's map out what I see here. All right, so we've got an area right here. Let's make sure that I got this. Okay, this is good. Kind of flat on the volume profile. Nothing super exciting there on the volume profile. Let me just see what I can find in here. Okay, so the area that I see would be right smack here. So it'd be more of a really quick small scalp, people. Again, probably not an A++ setup, but let's mark this off as a TP. Okay, mark off my entry, which would be right at the, delete this guy. So my TP would be sitting right at the, let's put it at the 75, load entry. Okay, so an entry at the 25.069. Let's put in our stop loss here. Okay, I'll show you the normal stop loss. 25, load, stop loss. Okay, so stop at the 25.062. I would have much rather preferred the stop to be a little bit lower, just because of this sweep right down here for volume imbalance. But we'll see what happens here at the initial reaction. And then TP2, let's say right there is a great spot for it. All right, so this setup would look something like this. An entry at the 25.069.75. Targeting TP1 at 25.075.75. Pretty easy take profit right here. And your TP2 would be looking at the 25.079.75. A lot of 0.75s going on right here. Stop loss would be at the 25.062.25. And again, I think I would much rather prefer my stop. This is about 7 points. So positive risk to reward right now. Only issue is if we put it down here, what's that gonna look like? Something like that. My issue with this one is I'm worried about this. I'm worried about this area right here, but I kind of believe that if we come down, we're gonna sweep this. So if the thought process is that we sweep this, might as well save my 3 points of risk, really button down this to a pretty decent low-cost trade, and maybe keep it at our original spot, which would be right at that 62 area. You know what? I'm going to leave it right here, actually, now that I'm looking at it. I'm going to leave that one right there. Okay, so this one's the closest to price action currently. Again, remember, long at the 25.069.75, targeting the 25.075s with a stop at the 25.060s. And remember, up here, we've got a short possibility at the 25.231.50, 25.231.50, targeting the 25.222 number. All right, let's see what else we can find here on the NQ. All right, I think it's going to be coinciding with those big candles. Excuse me. Again, not super excited with this one. Don't like where this one sits on the volume profile at all. Yep, I'm not marking that one off. Don't like it. Sorry about that. Must have a lot of people still sleeping. They don't want to make money early this morning, I guess. All right, and then I've got another area marked off down here. This one fits the volume profile a little nicer, in my opinion. This is an area right here right now of interest. So let's map that out since we've got some time. All right, I see an entry at the 24,855. .25 loaded up as an entry. TP1 very easy TP1, to be honest with you. Very easy. And our TP2 would sit right, I think, smackaroonie right there. No, sorry, right here. At the 24,867. And our stop would sit right around here. There we go. So the other setup to the long would be at the 24,855.25, targeting the 24,861. Again, kind of small on the TP1, which I'm not very thrilled with. But I can make a very, very strong case for like the 65s would be very easy. Very, very easy. So right in between here, if that's TP1 and TP2, you're more likely going to get both of them. So that's what I see on the NQ already here this morning. So let's, for right now, we've got these two setups that we're looking at on the NQ. Leave those up on the screen. And on the ES, we've got a setup again above us, taking a short at the 67.88 down to the 67.85. And then below us, we've got a setup at the 66.71.50, targeting the 66.73 and a quarter. And then we got another setup down there. So let's see what price action wants to do here this morning. All right, well, at least we got our morning mapped out. So now we just kind of have to see what price action wants to do here. So we got about 18 minutes to the market open. I typically don't trade probably 5 to 10 minutes into the open, or I should say after the open. And then I usually limit anything 5 minutes prior to open. It just, order book starts to kind of clear out, and that's where most people are trying to establish maybe some early positions in the market, and I don't really want to be a part of that. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their weekend. My daughter had a softball game on Saturday. Son had a football game on Friday, which he ended up losing, which sucked. But this coming Friday is going to be his last his last football game, probably of his career. He's a senior, so it's a little sad for all of us because there's nothing like watching your kid play football on a Friday night. So his final game will be this Friday, and then I think my daughter, our travel team, we've got one more game left for fall ball, and then we'll be done. The weather's definitely turning. It was damn chilly here this morning. It was chilly yesterday, raining all day. I think I woke up and it was at like 40, 49 as a temperature outside, which is pretty damn cold. As far as prop firm updates, Tradeify is running this 40% off sale. Today's the last day of that sale. Obviously, you can use code TraderRob if you're looking to get they've got instant funded accounts. They've got some prop accounts. I do use Tradeify, so that's one of the accounts that are attached to one of the two of my live cash brokerage accounts through Ninja. So I'm currently trading 7 accounts. I've got 2 cash accounts that I trade here each and every morning. I've got 3 funded ticks accounts. Really like the funded ticks. Their payouts are just, it's within a day. I mean, it's so close. It's so easy, and their dashboard's great. I love how it updates in real time. I think that they're gonna make some other prop firms kind of change their capabilities, because as far as platform is concerned, back-end stuff, it's very nice. And then I also have a funded account through Tradeify and a funded account through Take Profit Trader. So when you see okay. So I encountered a small issue with the new P&L boxes that I have up on the screen. And one of my fantastic, I think he's on here right now, Mike. So the mistake that I made was, I guess when you switch over time frames, it's attached only to that one time frame, and I forgot that I put them in different tabs, so I would have to add it to each tab. Crappers. Man, I really want to see if this sucker worked. And I usually am on the lower time frame when I'm in a trade, because that's how I kind of find my TPs. I should call them my dynamic TPs. All right, give me 2 minutes here, and let me just see if I can add this indicator to all of the charts and to all my time frames, and see if that'll work. Give me 2 seconds. Be right back. I was talking to myself. So yeah, I was able to add the indicator to all the tabs now, so I think we should be fine here. I think we should be good now. What I was saying earlier was, it's a beautiful thing when you build a community that we've got through Discord that people are willing to help even me out, because that's what I try to do every single day is to help people out. I believe in good karma, so that was awesome. And we'll see here live together if it works. I haven't been able to take a trade with all the connected accounts, and I'm hoping that hopefully what we see is when we're in the trade, the open P&L will show up, and then when we close out of the trade, the session P&L will total up. Hey Ron, congrats coming into the signal service, man. What I would say is if you can, if you're not a part of my Discord, that's the first thing that you want to do is join the Discord, and then just send me a quick DM with your YouTube username, and I'll add you into that signal service this morning. But welcome. All right, so we got about 9 minutes to the open. Again, I'll just go over the setups that we've already currently identified here this morning. A short on the ES at the 67.88, targeting the 67.85, so about 3 points of profit there, with a stop at the 67.92. That's to the upside. To the downside, I've got this marked off at the 6700s. I've explained it a few times, but it's an area that, again, psychological number. It coincides with some volume, but doesn't coincide with my volume profile, which is the reason why I don't even have TPs or stop losses set up here. I just kind of want to see what the market's going to do, what's going to react to right here, but not a setup that I'm willing to take at this point. And on the ES, we're also looking for a long at the 66.7150, targeting very small target. It's just what I find on the charts, and the TP would be looking at the 66.73. And then another setup right below it at the 66.48, targeting the 66.51. A little bit bigger stop here, but the concern I have with both of these setups, which I've got probably marked off, I would say the top one is probably an A- setup, and this bottom one here at the 66.48 is probably a B to a B+ setup. My only concern is that both of these are in an area. Let's see if I can. Both of these are in an area that have a lot of volume imbalance, a lot of stops sitting right here. So my only concern is I'm hoping that we have enough distance here where it rebalances my TPs before it stretches to get into this volume, which is where it's going to want to go. I mean, I'm telling you that now. It wants this, but it might need to conduct business right here. So again, this is where a good footprint confirmation would probably come in crucial. And then the same situation's happening here at the 66.48. We've got this big pocket right now of volume sitting where it needs to get balanced out. A lot of stops. So again, I'm just hoping that it rebalances my TPs prior to making this big run for this stretch right here. So that's my commentary on both of those early setups here. And then on the NQ, we've got a long setup below us at the 25.069.75, targeting the 25.075, and then the 25.079. And then above us, we've got this short mapped out from last week at the 25.231, targeting down to the 25.222. So currently those are the two setups that I am interested in, or those are the few setups that I'm interested in on the ES and the NQ. Amal, good morning. As far as A plus setups, what I see here this morning, I really like the NQ up here at the 25 231.50. That's going to be a pretty damn decent setup. The NQ down here looks really good, 25.69. My only issue right now are these two setups I have on the ES on the downside. I would say that this first setup right here would probably be closer to an A- setup for me at the 66.71. As far as A++ on the ES, you'd have to wait up to the 67.88. That's it. And then obviously we'll see how the first hour of the market, how it reacts here. We got the market opening in about 4 minutes. And again, I'm going to be jumping off today at about 9:40. We started about 7:45 this morning, but today's going to be an early kind of close for me. And then tomorrow through Friday we'll resume back at the 8:30 normal starting time, right at the market open. So what I'm hoping to see now here on the market is, we've consolidated here for about maybe 40 minutes. I'd like to see a big push, one way or the other, doesn't really matter to me, but a decent push that can open up some clues, some pockets here. I'm going to switch over to the NQ. The closest one to us is going to be this 25.69 area right here. You just got to be extremely careful in that 5 minutes prior to the open and probably 5 to 7 minutes after the open. It's most likely not going to be a setup that I can take, or I will take, if we get a quick dump to the downside. It's just not high probability for me, and I don't really care about quantity. I'm looking for quality. And the second part to that scenario is on the NQ. To get a footprint confirmation on the NQ 5 minutes prior, 5 minutes after, 7 minutes after is very, very difficult because of the fact on how quickly the NQ moves. So there's that concern with me as well here. So 2 minutes here to the open. Let's see what price action wants to do. Green Dave's Trader project that's having issues today. I think I rid of most of their. I know they were having some lagging issues a while back. I think I gave some commentary on the Project X, the TopSupX platform. My only concern with that, I mean, I think TopSup is a great firm. It's the first firm that I started with. But my biggest issue with the platform is, one, that they took away Tradovate and the connectivity to Ninja. So that to me was kind of a deal killer. But secondary is I can deal with having to switch over to a different platform to take a trade. I mean, that's not the biggest problem. But the biggest issue that I have with the Project X is that, or the TopSupX, is that I can't preset my brackets. I know that they added the OCO bracket orders, which is great, but it's set to a specific point total. So for instance, if I wanted to enter in this trade, I would actually have to redo all of my bracket orders in the template to match up to what I'm looking for on my TP and my stop loss. And to do that for every single trade, I think to me sucks ass. Obviously once you get in the trade, you can adjust your TPs, but sometimes you never know. All right, here was the open. So we had a nice little spike to the upside. Let's see what's happening up on the order book. So right now the 25-170s right here, a lot of volume sitting right up here, so could probably see the market wanting to test that out. at the 25 170s. It's right around here. I mean, that's the first pocket of liquidity that I see. There you go, tapped right into it. So that would be the most logical spot for it to want to kind of tap into. Let's see how the 31s. So as of right now, the 25 231 is not okay. They're building it up a little bit here. Let's see if it. Let's see if I can. Your next area of liquidity up here is going to be at the 25 200s. That could be something that they might want to stretch for, or possibly rebalance what they just left behind right here. So what they did is they left a lot of volume right there. Let's see what that looks like. So this little shaded area right here is where they left some volume that needs to get balanced out here. Again, pocket of volume sitting at the 25 200s, which is right now looks like the most likely target. But I will say I don't like how the 31s are not getting defended yet at all. So I would stay out of that. I would stay out of that short until maybe 5 or 7 minutes after. I'd probably give it about another 5 minutes. And as of right now, it's not being defended heavily at all. So just be very careful with this 25 231. If we get a quick spike right up to it, it's not something that I would take as of right now. That can change obviously as price action. I like to see what happens at the TP2 and TP1. Let's see with the ES. All right, ES had a nice little push there. The ES has got a lot of liquidity right here resting at the 6750. So that's the area that they want right here. That's going to be an area that they're going to want to tap into. And then from there, we got to see if they want to rebalance what's left down here. Which they did leave a little pocket down here. So it looks like on the NQ, they tapped into the 200s. There you go. So that was exactly what I thought they would do. And then now it's just determining if they want to rebalance what's here or come up to see what we got up here. And again, I'm not a directional trader or momentum trader, but I mean, I can definitely see where they want to go, at least for the most part. I should say where they want to go, but where the most likely areas that interest them. So on the ES, let's take a look. Just see what they left right here. Didn't really leave anything super clean. These are the two areas that they just left. They left some volume that needs to get balanced out right here. Just not super thrilled about this. Not super thrilled about where this one's sitting on the profile. This one's sitting a little better, but a lot of stops right here. So again, this would be an area that they would want to, as you guys can see, this is just a line right here that coincides with the high volume right there, but I would hate to be in a trade right here or long and then for them to make that quick sweep right there. All right, now we're getting closer to the NQ. Let's see what goes on here. The 37s are defended and the 25s are defended, so not really the 31s yet. I can blow this up a little bit. All right, 30s have a little bit coming in. Let's see here what happens. Yeah, Mike, that's what I mean when I say it's not being defended. I'm looking at Bookmap and just trying to see what where orders are kind of being stacked up, and in what type of progression the orders are stacked up. If it's an area that they're really looking to defend, or if there's just some small pockets that they just need to conduct business in. I like to see the stack where I've got some orders sitting behind me, or I should say above me on a short situation. So we got the reaction to TP1. Not enough to invalidate an entry here, still at the 31s. Now, again, the 35s right now are defended pretty strongly. It's really close to my stop loss. So again, just I had to rate the trade now. It'd probably be a B, closer to B minus. I hate to say it, but unless something changes. The 30s have got some decent contracts sitting there. So right here, maybe a quick spike into the 30 and tap into the 31 possibly. But that 35 looks like an area that they really might want to go after. So we got to be very careful in this area. This is where my footprint, hopefully I can get a decent footprint confirmation, maybe to go to TP2. Just see really quick what the ES is doing. All right, so the ES tapped right into that 67.50, right, pretty much right to the tick. That was the spot that I was thinking that it would want to go into. All right, so the defense came into the 20s. Remember, the shaded area here is where I could see them having a reaction to. Just right now, not super interested in that right now. Yeah, the 30s, the 31s are just not. You know, the 30s have some decent volume or contracts, but this, I don't know. This right here doesn't look that great for me right now. You got to see what price action does here. Okay, so they're stacking back up at the 25s. So they're going to want to defend this area right here. Probably a good amount of stops sitting right around that 25. Yep, those are stops. So you got to be careful here. This could be an area where we sweep it. It's the closest area between there and down here that it needs to rebalance. So I could definitely see the market coming right back up into these 25,225 area. The only issue that you might see is kind of that strong implosion into what our entry would look like, which currently. Okay, so the 32s now are kind of coming in. It's not as great. The 35s, they're defended very strongly, very close to our stop loss. So again, the setup to me looks B at best. I would need to see a very, very strong footprint confirmation for me to consider a trade right there, right now. Come on, market. Pick a side you want to go to. Pick a side here. Be back in 1 sec. Let's see what the 35s have going on. Why are they so interested in that area? Let's see. Not really a stop loss area. See anything there that why they'd be so interested in the 35s, but they are. They are. All right, the 30s are stacking up okay. So the 25 230s are stacking up decent, which could give us a nice push right into the 3150s. Again, I think I'm going to rely pretty strongly on my footprint confirmation there. So I'd be looking for a red footprint candle with positive delta. And the more delta that I can get, the better. And just so you guys know, these are the two possible outcomes that I can see here. Is we get a very nice clean touch of the 31s down to TP, or we get this push up to the 35s, which could very easily get into our stop loss. So this would not be a setup where I would say a limit order, a resting limit order would be the best scenario. I mean, I say that's the easiest way to trade it, resting limit order, TP1. So if you want to put some risk on this morning, that's always out there. But a possible footprint confirmation up here in the 35s, tapping into this volume area that needs to get balanced out, then I might be able to take even a nicer trade down to TP1 or TP2. So that's kind of what I have in my head right now. I want to see what kind of reactions we get at that 30 number, and then we'll kind of take it from there. All right, the ES is making a decent push to the upside. So again, to me, the 25s right here just seem like the area that's easiest for the market to rebalance. They got to rebalance down here as well, but this just seems like a much easier area for them to target. All right, let's see what happens here. All right, so that was the 30s that I was talking about. There we go. They tapped in. Let's see what happens here now. Okay, did not get the confirmation, but you got your TP1. So you got your TP1. We missed TP2 by probably about a point. But unfortunately, this was the candle that I was looking at on the footprint right here, and that carried a negative 14 delta, so didn't get the confirmation that I was looking for. But we should take out TP2 here. There you go. All right, so I mean, again, zero drawdown on that trade if you had your resting limit order right there. Just did not feel the most comfortable with just leaving a resting limit order there. I was really hoping that this candle right here, this footprint candle right here would have given me a reason to get in, but it didn't. But the setup proved to be pretty damn perfect. I mean, that's exactly right to the tick. So what they did was they cleared out, if you saw, there was a very big print right here, the 136. They cleared out the volume sitting at the 30s, and that's kind of where, actually, if you take a look at this footprint chart right here, this candle, this would have been a very good confirmation. This is actually what I should have seen because I was kept saying the 30s. That's what they were defending. This got you a negative, this got you a positive 48. This would have been a great confirmation candle. Just maybe not the best risk to reward on that trade. You would have probably gone into about 5 or 6 points of drawdown, but the actual 31 was on the number. All right, so let's take this setup out off our screen. Let's see what else we can find here. But hopefully you can see the power of knowing where volume is sitting at, what it did to the volume profile previously. It'll give you clues that are, you know, extremely strong. All right, let's see what else I can find here now. We did break some structure right here. It just looks very congested. Let me just see what this looks like. Probably going to tap into this area right here. So where's this at? This is at the 25-211. Let's see what's going on there. Yeah, so the 25-210s, you'll see a reaction at. You know, again, this probably be a very tiny scalp, but not something that I'm personally interested in. That would probably be a TP right here. Load that as a TP. Entry would be right there. I'm just marking this off for honestly for shits and giggles. This is not a trade that I'd be entertaining right now. It's not a trade that I'd be entertaining. And then your other would be right there. Real small scalp, but again, not something that I'm entertaining, but definitely, obviously you can go and see where the levels that I mark out each and every morning, where that kind of comes into play. So kind of a perfectly marked up setup on the NQ that I was not able to take, which is okay. I mean, I find setups all day long, so I'll wait for the next really good one. Let's see, 25-211. Yeah, 25-210s right around here. Might want to dip into the 10-9 area and maybe rebalance, possibly rebalance TP1 there. But again, not a setup I would take. Again, unless there's a really nice confirmation. Okay, nice little push there. Nice little push there. Let's see what. Let's see if they leave any clues. I will say, the bigger this push to the upside is, the more this setup then becomes a little bit more interesting to me. A little bit. But I need to see some clear movement up, which looks like we're not getting. So again, I'm not looking for this trade. I just mapped it out just to kind of see what market does. Tapped in. Got into the 10s, which is what I thought it would do. And then let's see if it rebalances here. TP1. Strong sellers. Strong sellers. Let's see what happens here. There you go. That's why I just did not feel very comfortable with it. But you could see where the initial reaction almost got you to TP1 there. But again, I would have rather seen this really jump to the upside, really break some decent structure before this even became an area that the big volume participants were looking at, which they obviously were not. So let's knock off these. I need to clear my screen. All right, so what else we got? Let's go here. Let's go back to the ES. So on the ES, it's just kind of sitting where I thought it would be sitting at the 67.50. We've got a short setup at the 67.88, targeting the 67.85 on the ES. That's a short, and then the long, along at the 66.71.50. But we'd have to see the market do something here. Get down there. I've got these two areas right now shaded, the small shaded off areas. These are areas that, again, I know you're going to see a reaction in the market. I just don't, just look at them one more time to make sure that there's... It's not clean, man. There's just nothing clean right now. Cleanest thing to me looks right here, but it's just not, it's not originating. This, you see this little peak right here on the volume profile? We're going to see a reaction there. The only issue is, to me, is that it's not originating from a high volume area to start with. So this is some very low level volume sitting right here that, you know, obviously this is the level right here. The 15-minute level would sit right here, which coincides nicely with the volume profile. It's what I like to see on the node. It's just not originate like this one right here. This guy is originating from a high volume area that I'd love to see. But let's see what the NQ is doing. Let's jump to the 5-minute. Your next level on the ES that I would see a much bigger reaction would be the 67.73. That's where you can probably, the market's going to have a very difficult time getting through that. So that would look something like this. The ES. The 67, let's call it the 67.72, all the way up to the 68.07. That's where you're going to see a hard time getting through that. That's for your US 30 question. It's just floundering in this area that I just knew that that's... The market gives you clues in the morning as to areas where they want to conduct some business too. And then they're just looking to collect as much business as they can and dump it off somewhere else for a profit. All right, let me take a look at this area right here. Okay, so what I see here is just not the greatest. I just don't really like that here. The 6716 has a entry. Fits nicely on the volume profile. Targeting small target 6718 and then 6719. I mean, it's just not, I mean, it's a tiny scalp with a big stop. It's just not an area that to me seems very super A plus. I would be much more interested in getting this nice little A plus setup right here at the 6788. I mean, you can see how nicely this sits on the volume profile right here. You got a great area of defense, very easy TPs. This to me just seems like the much better setup here this morning. Much better. Yeah, I understand what TopSip is trying to do. To me, it looks like they're definitely getting into the brokerage model. But for them to compete, I think that the TopStep X needs, and to me, it seems like it would be very easy. It would be very easy to add, like, you know how like in TradingView and all the charting platforms, you could put in your entry, you could put in your stop loss, and you could put in your TP and hit send, and those just appear. It's like them adding the bracket orders for OCO is like some major advancement in technology when that's just basic. I think charts should do that basic wise, but as a firm in general, I mean, I think that their rules are pretty good. They're obviously the most established. And they've paid me out when I requested it, so I don't trade with them anymore. I do have 2 TopStep X accounts that I want to say are probably in $1,700 profit for both of them. I just don't I just don't even put them up on my chart to trade them, because to me it's just an added step to trade, and to be honest with you, I forget about it more than I should. Anyone on the chat took that short that I left you guys with on Friday? I mean, that one was pretty damn perfect. TP1 and TP2 on that trade. That was a really, really nice one. And I mean, I don't know how many times I said that was my A++++er. That thing was solid. All right, this is an area right here that at least the NQ wanted. Next one's going to be that 255 area, which is right above here. And then the 65s. I just don't have anything to the left here that to me looks good. So unfortunately, I don't have anything on the NQ right now that's to the top side, which kind of stinks. Let me just make sure that I don't have anything. Let's see here. Let's go here. Let's see. So here's an area, but again, that's sitting on the right part of the volume profile for me. This is a very congested area. Don't like it. I don't like anything up here. I could almost make a case for this whole shaded area. You're gonna get a setup, but I can't pinpoint anything on the lower time frame. I just can't do it. I don't see anything. Don't see anything at all. Let's see what the ES is doing. All right, ES has got a nice little push here. Let's see what it's got in front of it. Yeah, the next area for the ES is our setup right here at the 6788. It's the only thing I see on the ES that it's got to get through the 6765s. So this guy right here, this is where it would need to kind of get through now. That's going to be the next line in the sand for the ES. Should say smaller line in the sand. I'll be right back. All right. So again, on the ES, the line in the sand that this is the next big area of interest for them is that 67, that's 65. I know it says 64 here, but let's fix that up here. 67, 65, they're going to have some problems getting through that, but they want to get to it, that's for sure. So now this area starts to look a little better to me. Let me see what that looks like again. Let's see what that looks like again. All right. So this looks a little better to me now because of the fact now that we've made a big push to the upside. TP. This would be my entry. That guy off. Stop loss would be right there. Let's see what that looks like. Well, this is what this setup would look like right here on the ES. Along at the 6736 and a tick. So 6736.25, targeting the 6739. So about 3.5 points. I could see that being in play. And I like it now much better because we've had a big movement to the upside. So now once they tap into an area that they want to kind of rebalance, I could definitely see them wanting to come right back in. Let's see. The 40s, they're going to want to tap right back into 40s first. So if it rolls back down, you're going to see a big fight at the 40s, 67.40. So we'll probably see a temporary pullback to the upside, and then we come right back down, and hopefully we can take a trade here on the ES. Let's see what happens. For me personally, I think it would be even better if they were to tap into the 67, 65s. That to me would make a whole lot of sense. ES looks ugly right now. I'm sorry, the NQ looks ugly right now. Nothing too interesting. So we kind of sit and wait here. For those of you that joined the stream, that watched the my weekly bands and levels video I posted yesterday, if you went on to my website, which is robstrades.com, and you put your name and your email in, you might have missed yesterday's email just because I sent it right after I did the video, but before the upload. So you won't see that email until the following Sunday with all of the new updated bands and levels. So don't think I forgot about you. It's just that you guys came in after the email was already sent. All right, let me make some updates here. Signals. So right now, let's switch back over to the ES. Let's take a look here. It's 10. That's gonna be sitting at the 67.36. 39.75. Okay. right, that one's in. And Q. Nothing. ES right now seems like to be the one instrument we can hopefully take something here on today. And hopefully within the next half an hour. Come on, Marky, do something here. All right, they're supporting up to 6750s. If we break the 6750s on the ES, if we break it to the downside, this trade is going to be in play. And then the next area is going to be this right at my TP2, to be honest with you. The 6740. Line in the sand right now will be at the 50s. 6750. If it could break through here, this becomes in play. All right, I'm out of coffee. Let me go brew up a Cuban coffee real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, looks like market's going to want to do what I think it wants to do and tap into the 67.65. It's going to get real interesting right here. So at this case, the best case scenario would be a big rejection right here at the 67.65. And then come right back down to our entry here at the 67.36. There's going to be a big fight at the 67.40, but they need to knock this out before. And if they keep pushing to the upside, then our entry at 67.88, which would be the best setup that we have for this morning, would be, again, a short at the 67.88, targeting 67.85, and then targeting 67.83. All right. Let the fight begin here. Just go down to the 1 minute just so I can see what's... All right, here we go. All right, so they tapped into the 67, 64.50s. Close enough. Actually, not close enough. I'm sorry. The actual 65s is where the big fight should occur. And the market kind of needs it. It needs an area to balance out because it really hasn't balanced anything out yet in the last, I don't know, probably about hour. And then we've got initial balance that's going to be setting up on the NQ, which is going to be a little unfortunate because it's going to be right probably at the end of this candle here. So what I'd like to see maybe is a little small pullback, because that's another thing too, is I don't really like right now the initial balance would be sitting right smack here, and I don't like trading. I don't like looking for a short right at the right as price actions right there. So you could see it just kind of went right through it. So to me, it's not really the best initial balance trade. And to the downside, IB low, we're sitting right around there. Let's see, IB low at the 38. Let's just make sure where this high was at. You've got your rejection off the IB high. Just not the greatest setup there. At least for me to entertain something. Let's see what the S is. Nothing yet. Again, the 65s defended very, very strongly on the ES. I would say that they tap right back into it, and then from there they're either going to blow up to the upside, which in that scenario our short at the 67.88 would play out nicely, or we get a nice strong rejection, rebalance a little bit of its balance at the 40s, and then hopefully take an entry at the 67.36. That's what we're eyeing right now. The NQ doesn't have really anything interesting right now. I would have liked to take an IB trade. I haven't taken one of those in like about 4 days, and I used to take one of those almost every single day. But this just doesn't, you know, when it closes right at the IB high, it's I would have liked to see just a little bit of a pullback, come right back and retest and see what the market was kind of doing. So the only thing at play right now would be the IB low, but we've got a setup before that. And then these two areas up here on the NQ, I just marked off that are just areas of interest, but not real setups that we're going to see some reactions, but not, I can't find a clear entry in between these two. I think my statement was that you can almost look for a footprint confirmation anywhere in this area right here, and you'll probably do okay, but that's not. I'm looking for sniper entries. Today's last day for Tradeify, 40% off on the 20th. So today's the last one for that Tradeify sale. Currently, I'm trading 2 cash accounts. We've got 7 accounts that I'm currently trading. So my cash account, my main cash account is copy trading to my secondary Ninja cash account, 3 funded Tix accounts, 1 funded Tradeify, and 1 funded Top Step Take Profit. We've been talking about Top Step here today. All right, so again, I think the market on the ES needs, there's going to be a fight right here at the 65s. They're loaded up. So if we blow through here, we got the setup on the ES that we'd be looking at short 67.88, targeting about 3 points. And then to the downside, we've got a long at the 67.36. Those are the only 2 setups right now that I'm currently interested in. Into the chat. And again, if you'd like to get my weekly bands and weekly tradable levels, just go to my site. It's robstrades.com. Put your name and email right there on the homepage, and those will be sent out to you every Sunday. Come on, market, do something. So I know I'm showing the ES and the NQ. Just curious in the chat, what's your favorite instrument to trade? I know the majority is probably going to be the NQ. That's always the wild boy. For me, the ES it's obviously a little bit slower. It'll make you sweat for your money, where the NQ will make you shit in your pants for the money. The ES, I think directional wise is a little bit easier to trade, but the moves are obviously not as clean. So on the NQ, you can get 10 to 15 points in a minute's candle, and maybe half a minute's candle, and be out of a trade, especially if you know where you're trading from. But you can also, you know, if we're looking, majority of the time, my stops are about 8 points, 8 to 10 points of stop, and it could run 5 or 6 points, you know, and make you sweat just a little bit. But anybody else trade any other instruments like the Dow or the RTY, gold, oil? Because if I get a big saturation of viewers on the channel that are interested in a different instrument, I'm more than happy to chart them up as well. It's all pretty simple. And the nice thing about my strategy is it works on every single instrument: the stock market, the equities, the futures, commodities. Never tested it on Forex. I've actually never traded Forex in my entire life, so I don't know. But I would assume it's the exact same thing. And again, it's not by coincidence that the market's kind of consolidating right here. It's the line in the sand that I told you. So it's kind of picking its battles and trying to absorb what it can. But eventually it's going to tap into that 60, 67, 65, and then you'll start to see after that where the true movement that the market wants to make. The euro dollar, GC's been, yes, Morgan, GC's been on fire. The GC I watch all the time. I've been trading gold probably 3 years now. It was funny because I remember when I first started with my mechanical strategies, it was oil that was the big mover. It was the CL that was the crazy one out of the group. You know, it seemed like especially oil session 2, seemed like every trade was max TP, max size. And then I would say the last year, there was a big switch from oil to gold. All right, so here's the fight. Let's see what happens here. Big absorption right there. 70s now. 70s is the new is where they're going to want to rebalance. So this is an area they're going to want to rebalance for sure. Big absorption right here at the 65s. They might just be willing to displace the majority of their auction right here at the 67, 70s. Seems like a very logical spot. But if we get a strong breakthrough, I'm telling you, the 67.88s will be in play hopefully today. Let's see what the NQ did. All right, the NQ is just testing some waters. For the NQ, the 300s, this is the new area for them. Can't stand it that it does not round up to my tick. All right, so that's the new area that it's got to get through. The ES, let's see what, like I said, the 67.70s is the most logical place for them to displace a lot of the volume that they just conducted right here. I think about 300 contracts were exchanged right there. And then let's see them dump it off here at the 67.70. And this could run up to about the 73s. Nick, yes, I my confirmation. So when I go to my confirmation screen that you see now there, I have the NQ and the ES footprint chart. That's what I use for my order confirmations on my signals, or on my setups, I should say. It's a big part of my trading. You don't have to use it. I should have made a video yesterday for my Signal member groups. You know, that I would say the easiest way to trade my setups would be, you know, a resting limit order at entry, just targeting TP1, setting your stop loss exactly how we've got it marked out here. It's not financial advice, but this is it's probably the easiest way to trade this setup, where, you know, you're not relying on any footprint confirmation. I do. I believe that it adds about a good maybe 4 to 5% added to my edge. So I'll take that, because I could find setups all the time in the market. For me, that's not the problem. I'm looking for just super high quality. So it's Morgan, for your question on the range. Yeah, I actually love it. I love the chart. I just don't like my divergence indicators to be at the bottom. I just don't see them very clean. I see it much more cleaner on the footprint chart. To me, I like to see the actual candle touching my my entries, and for me visually, it's much easier for me to spot that quick delta shift that I'm looking for. All right, guys, unfortunately, I'm going to have to run. I am a chairperson of a hearing for work at 10 o'clock, so I got to jump on a Zoom call here shortly. So as far as the ES, again, your most A+ setup right now would be the ES short at the 67.88, targeting the 67.85, and then TP2 67.83 with a stop loss of 67.92. We've got a setup that we identified down here at the 67.36, targeting the 67.39. This to me now looks very interesting, just based on the movement to the upside. Again, there's a big fight here at the 65s. The next, where it wanted to kind of complete its auction, would be at the 70. At least that's what was in my mind, which looks like it's going to be playing out perfectly. And then from this point, if we get a strong move to the upside, the 67.88 will be in play, or free reject down here. I'm not sure that we'll see the 67.36, but it's a big possibility. And then on the NQ, I unfortunately don't have anything to the top side. We got nothing to the top side that looks interesting. The best setup on the NQ would be a long at the 25069.75, targeting that 25075. And then above that, you've got another target at the 25079. Stop loss sitting at the 25060. Okay, so that's what I see on the NQ and the ES. Sorry we weren't able to take a trade today. I gave you guys a very nice setup that had about 0 points of drawdown, maybe a tick of drawdown, TP1 and TP2. I wasn't able to get it. I didn't get the confirmation I was looking for, but a resting limit order there would have got you guys some money. Okay, nice little push there. All right, nice little push. We broke through those 70s, so it might want to retest and then make a move back to the upside. Let's see if it's, yeah. Most likely you're going to see a retest right here and then a nice little move to the upside for sure. Tomorrow I'll be on same time, 8:30. I'm sorry, not the same time as today, but the same as my normal time. I'll be on 8:30 a.m. Central Time, which is right at the market open, and that's what it'll be the entire week coming up. So wishing you guys the best. Stay patient. There's no reason to be jumping into trades that are not high quality setups. And if you're looking to learn the setups that I map out here each morning, there's a few videos in the description below that will get you guys at least started. Join the Discord, it's free. And if you are interested in any of the prop firms that I'm affiliated with, as far as Tradeify, Funding Ticks, Take Profit Trader, and or Apex, just use code TraderRob. It helps me out a little bit on the channel, and I appreciate that. Please, guys, before I jump off, hit the like button. That helps out a lot. Get notified so you know when I'm going to be coming on live every single morning when you jump onto YouTube. I love this stuff. I mean, I can do this all day long, and I find setups all day long. It's you know, I've got a particular window that I love to trade, which is that 8:30 till about 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time. So the first 2.5 hours of the market, that's my favorite time to trade. But these setups appear all the time. Just like the one I gave you guys on Friday, that ES short, I think it hit at about 1:30 in the afternoon, but that was another perfect trade. So stay patient, stay profitable. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.